Welcome to my flower study series where I observe and recreate the different kinds of flowers by hand while learning more about them along the way. And the flower we'll be studying in this video will be the Chinese lantern lily and the Gerbera Daisy. I know it's been a while since my last upload. Where have I been? In my defense, I've been professionally distracted by alligators and roller coasters. But don't worry, I'm back settling into my new routine again here in America. So let's continue where we left off. Before we start, here are all the materials that I'll be using and I will be linking them in the description box below. So I've just changed into something more comfier. So far, all of the materials that I use are pretty consistent, so there aren't any changes to the things that I use to make my bouquet. I got my journal over here, and I'm going to sketch out the flower petals and see what kind of shape would suit. So I'm trying to figure out the name for this flower. I really don't know. I think I need to Google it. Apparently these are called Chinese lantern lilies or Christmas bells. Color check. I think this orange fits really well compared to this one. I really like the hues for this one, but it's just too orangey in my opinion. I also noticed there's a slight green at the tip over here, so I'll be choosing this one for the tip. For the leaves, I'm kind of conflicted between choosing this dark green shade or like a brighter green. I'm not too sure. I don't know if this dark green would look good, but I think I'll experiment and try both and see which one fits better. I'm currently thinking what kind of petal would suit Chinese lanterns. They're not pointy at the end, they're more like flat, like that. As usual, this is the wire that I'll be using. So I came up with this pattern and I'm going to thread it across and see if it fits when it's all curled up like this. If not, I might go ahead and try this pattern instead. Okay, so I spent some time experimenting with a new pattern and I think this one works well. You can see here. It does look kind of big, but I will be reducing its size and start the tutorial. Leave about 8 centimeters of wire before we start. Just measure approximately 2.5 centimeters in length and then twist to make a loop. So 2.5 centimeters for each loop should look something like this. Proceed to make all 12 identical loops like this. So once all 12 loops are done, we need to thread over here. Is it called threading? Sorry, not threading, I meant lacing. Not too much, just like the tip over here. You can lace using 0.2 or 0.3 wire. I'm using 0.2 because that's all I have right now. Usually you just need like double its length, so I'm just going to cut through a good amount. I like to start in the middle, so I will be putting my wire and thread through the middle like this. So once you've completed this side, we'll be doing on the left side here now. So now we will be reshaping them, curved like this. Anyways, I've only managed to complete 4 of these. I just need to make one little one and I think I'll be done. Then I'll proceed with the leaves next. Prepare your basic frame and then wrap your wire 45 degrees at the top and 90 degrees at the bottom. And repeat the same process until you have completed all 7 rows. So once you're ready, wrap at the bottom multiple times to secure the wire. Feel free to customize the colors if you want. So I've been working on the Chinese lantern lily for a while and this is what I have. As you can see over here, I've made about 5 of the lantern lilies and this one is in a different color. The tip is a little green. The rest of the lantern lilies are all orange. I've also made some green leaves. Not too many, just about like 6, and this one would be on the top. I'm not going too much in depth on the leaves, but it's just a simple looking leaves, nothing too crazy. I'm going to start assembling the lantern lilies and we're going to start off with the tip over here. These are actually very long loops, but I twisted them and to give like a pointier end. I'm just going to attach the smallest ones first. Add 2 more bigger leaves because this one's not enough. I just feel like adding more leaves onto the stem, and after that I'm going to add the lantern lilies. And also this time I just want to try something new. I didn't cut off the ends over here, I just attached them as per usual. I like this method a lot because I often get cuts on my fingers, especially when I cut the edges here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm lazy or if this is better, but you guys can go ahead and try and let me know. I'm going to wrap the lantern lilies with floral tape. It definitely looks like a maze pack. So I actually wrapped all the lantern lilies. I'm thinking if I should wrap it off with embroidery floss first or just attach all of these lilies onto the stems and then wrap it all up after. I think wrapping them with embroidery floss individually first might be better, or else I'll have to like a whole 360 of it. I have this thin floral stick over here and I'm going to attach the leaf buds onto the stick because the wire is too short for me to do anything. Okay, so this is what it looks like in orange and with like a green tint to it. I'm going to cut it and trim it right over here. If you're enjoying this flower study series, please don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my Patreon where I post my PDF flower patterns over there. I decided to wrap all of these ones individually before putting them onto this maze plant. I'm going to put the leaf buds on the top, the bigger lantern leaves at the bottom. It should look something like this. This is definitely a larger version of the original lantern lily over here. It looks really cute and I like it a lot. Anyways, I'm going to save this Gerbera right here because the water isn't able to flow to the flower itself. So I'm going to cut and also take this opportunity to make a study. Let's do a Gerbera study right now. So one obvious fact about these Gerbera daisies are they have lots of petals and they kind of have a really huge center. So I'll need to figure out how many petals I'm going to bead and how I'm going to make the centerpiece look exactly like the Gerbera daisy. So I'm currently figuring out the kind of petals that I want, and I think this petal will fit the best. Kind of pointy at the tip here, but it's more of like a rounded top, so I'll take that as 90 and 45 degrees at the bottom. Might go for this one. As for the colors, I actually picked out this pink shade. And as for the darker pink shade over here, I'm going to make it all around the center here, and then yellow for the centerpiece and this one for the middle. I might be doing about 10 to 12 petals or even more. I'll need like 2 groupings because this one's like the first layer and you can see the bottom here. I think that's like the second layer of the Gerbera. Let's just try. I hope I'm not rambling too much. It makes sense in my head. Let's see if it makes sense in real life. I just got changed and I really loved the quality of this shirt. It's so comfy. Alright, so let's start making the petals. I already figured out how many petals I want. I might add more if I feel like it's not enough. So let's see. To make the first group of petals, we are going to measure about 5 centimeters of center beads. So for the first layer of petal, we are going to wrap it 90 degrees at the top. Straighten your wire and then wrap 45 degrees at the bottom. And just repeat until you have all 5 rows. 90 degrees at the top. And then 45 degrees at the bottom. And this is 5 rows, so wrap it multiple times at the bottom. I'm going to extend my bottom wire and I'm going to cut. And there we go. So this will be the first layer. We'll be beading 10 petals for the first layer. Surprisingly, they don't take too long because it's only 5 rows. Now for the second layer, you start off with 6 centimeters of beads. Just prepare a basic frame. Same thing here, we are going to wrap 90 degrees at the top. Always straighten your wires. And then wrap 45 degrees at the bottom. And just repeat until we completed all 7 rows. So 90 degrees at the top. Straighten. 45 degrees at the bottom. One more round. 90 degrees at the top. And 45 degrees at the bottom. Wrap it a few times. this is for the second layer of our petal. I've made about 12 sets of petals for the second layer. So you can see over here that the petals on the right are much longer than the ones on the left. So all of them are not equal. I just play around with the length from 5.5 centimeters to 6.5. I'll be leaving about 8 centimeters of wire before I start my loop. I'm going to make about 15 loops measuring 3 centimeters in length. .5 centimeters long for each loop. I've made another loop in a slightly longer size, 3.5 centimeters. So we do not need too many grain beads, so I'm just going to string them. I'm starting off with 3 center beads. And just wrap your way up 90 degrees at the top and the bottom. I'm only wrapping up until 11 rows. Secure your wire. So I got my floral stick over here, and let's start assembling. I'm going to start off with the center piece right here. So I like to fold it together like this, and then this. Again, I'll be using a separate wire to attach everything. I'll be attaching this yellow loop. Instead of using the wire, I'll just wrap this around the center piece. I'm going to rearrange them nicely. You can fold them inwards like this. By the way, these are like all the cuts that I got. I'll get like the shorter pink loop, just wrap them around the yellow loops. Also, be careful not to injure yourself during this process. Now I have something like this, and then I'll attach the second pink loop. I'm just making sure that they are all evenly placed. It looks really weird right now, but I have faith in this, so let's go ahead and attach the small petals first. I'm not gonna cut the loop ends here because I noticed after I cut them, I always injure myself, my thumbs. So I'm just going to press it like that. But just do what works for you. So using the separate wire, I'm going to attach the petals onto the piece. So just take your time and fill up the empty gaps in between. Okay, it looks weird, but we're going to attach all the petals and then rearrange them after. One last petal. So I added some green leaves over here. These are just loops measuring about 4 centimeters long. About 8 of these loops. Just 6 of these, 3 centimeters for its center beads and 5 rows each. Before I add the leaves onto the Gerbera, I'm going to wrap them up with floral tape first. I'm just going to rearrange them nicely before I add the leaves. Just fold the petals inwards like this. Should look something like this. It's actually coming together now. So let's attach the leaves at the back. I'm just going to wrap this one around the petals. Let's attach the leaves. I'm just going to fill up the gaps all around. One more layer of floral paste. Just rearrange the leaves. I noticed the leaves are usually stuck underneath the petals. I'm going to place them nicely like that. That's our Gerbera Daisy. It's so much more bigger than the real life one, but what do you guys think? I think it's really heavy. It looks really cool. Let's just wrap this up with embroidery floss. So I'm picking out this really nice green and it matches really well with the leaves over here. I'm not a really huge fan of wrapping the embroidery floss, but if you guys know a really quick way to do it, just let me know in the comments below, because this is my least favorite process of French beading. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's something new and experimental, and I do enjoy studying these flowers and making them in real life, even though this is a little bit too big. If you'd like to see more videos like this, just let me know in the comments below. Take care and I'll see you next time.